That's your Gap hoodie, is that right? That's you, who you shooting at? Alright, now back it up again.
That's your Gap hoodie, right? He hit me. See who he's shooting at? Yeah, back it up again. That's one of the dudes who met young Dolph, caught on tape straight up admitting to the murder. But he didn't stop there. He spilled even more tea, including Yo Gotti's alleged part in the plan and who else might have been on the hit list. The streets aren't vibing with this kind of snitching, and word is he better keep his head on a swivel for life. Now let's break it down. The murder that sent shockwaves through the city and the beef that lit the whole thing up. Memphis, Tennessee. Don't play when it comes to street loyalty. But even in a city known for its real ones and rough corners, nothing hit harder than what went down that November day in 2021. We're talking about the cold-blooded hit on one of the realest rappers to ever touch a mic, young Dolph. This wasn't no random street beef that spiraled out of control. Nah, this was deep. This was personal. The kind of situation that had the entire hood talking, the city mourning, and the whole hip-hop world stunned, asking, how did it get this far? November 17th, 2021, that date's burned into Memphis history. Young Dolph, born...
The whole world never say that when they egging on the beat. When everybody put on a song, everybody egging out, nobody don't be saying that. We feel like that right now.
Born Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., just 36 years old, was gunned down in broad daylight at Makita's homemade butter cookies, a local spot he loved. Imagine that, the man just wanted some cookies, and in seconds, his life was taken. It wasn't some dark corner or midnight ambush. This was the middle of the day, out in public. No mask, no fear, no mercy. Dolph wasn't just another rapper chasing fame. He was the Memphis legend, a self-made boss who built his paper route empire from scratch, never selling out or backing down to anyone. But what went down that day?
You know Big Juke?
Yeah, Juke was my boy.
Oh, that was your friend?
Yeah, that was my boy.
Well, in the trial, in the Justin Johnson straight drop trial, they say that Juke had a 100K hit on Dolph.
That wasn't just a hit, that was an execution. 22 shots, man, 22. That's not murder, that's making a statement. The whole scene was caught on surveillance. Two masked men pulling up in a white Mercedes, hopping out with automatics, and unloading while Dolph stood there with no warning. Then as quick as it started, they were gone, leaving behind broken glass, empty shells, and a city drowning in grief. Memphis was heartbroken, angry, and demanding to know who could pull something this cold-blooded in broad daylight. Police weren't sleeping on this one. Within months, they had 4 suspects cuffed and charged: Justin Straight Drop Johnson and Cornelius Smith, the alleged shooters who actually pulled the triggers; Hernandez Govan, who investigators claimed was the mastermind behind the whole setup; and Jamarcus Johnson, Justin's half-brother.
How did you feel when Straight Drop got sentenced to the murder?
I don't feel no type of way. I don't put myself in there like that. I kill myself.
Accused of helping them escape and collect the money for the hit. The pieces were falling into place, but everyone from the block to the barbershop knew this wasn't the full story. See, in the streets, everyone whispers about the same thing. Somebody powerful wanted Dolph gone. The big question, who gave the order? Who had enough pull, enough motive to make something like this happen? To really get it, you gotta rewind years back to one of the dirtiest rap beefs Memphis ever saw, Young Dolph versus Yo Gotti. This wasn't just two rappers throwing shade online or dropping slick lines on diss tracks. Nah, this was deep, real life.
Straight Drop only got $800 for that hit. Can you imagine killing somebody and your reward is a PlayStation and maybe a game or two?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Dangerous and way beyond music. Crews were involved, labels were involved. There were real shootings, real bodies, and real fear in the air every time those names were mentioned together. By the time this beef hit its peak, it had already turned the city into a battlefield. People knew that when Dolph and Gotti's crews crossed paths, it wasn't just tension, it was war. You could feel it in the air, like something bad was always about to happen. It all started way back around 2014, when young Dolph's independent grind started making serious noise. The streets were rocking with him, his hustle, his sound, his message. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti, real name Mario Mims, was already a Memphis powerhouse, running his CMG label and holding down the city. Word on the block was, Gotti allegedly tried to sign Dolph to his label, but Dolph wasn't about to let anybody own him. He wanted his own lane, his own empire, his own paper route. And that decision right there, it might have sparked one of the most dangerous feuds the rap game's ever seen. And that's when things flipped from a rap beef to a real street war. In Memphis, in a city built on respect, blocks, and loyalty, a diss track ain't just a song. When you talk slick about somebody who's got real hitters in their circle, that smoke can come back fast. In a place where reputation is worth more than money, disrespect can get deadly real quick. And that's exactly what happened. Not once, but multiple times. The first wild situation went down in February 2017 during the CIAA tournament weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina, February 25th, a day that almost ended everything for young Dolph. His bulletproof ride got lit up with over 100 shots. That's not no warning, that's a full-blown hit attempt. Whoever was behind it wanted him gone for real. It's crazy, but Dolph survived that ambush because he was smart enough to bulletproof his whip, 100 rounds, and he walked away. That's not luck, that's straight divine protection. But the streets weren't done coming for him. Just 7 months later, in September 2017, Dolph got hit again, this time outside the Lowe's Hollywood Hotel in Los Angeles. And this one was serious. Dude was in critical condition, fighting for his life. When the story broke, reports said Yo Gotti was listed as a person of interest since he was staying at the same hotel. The tension was off the charts. But LAPD later cleared Gotti, saying he wasn't a suspect. Instead, one of Gotti's affiliates, Corey McClendon, got arrested for attempted murder. But just like before, he walked free. No conviction, no closure. The streets started whispering that maybe Dolph was running out of chances, but fate had more to reveal. Fast forward to September 2024, 3 years after Dolph was taken out, and Memphis was tuned in like it was the Super Bowl. Justin Straight Drop Johnson's murder trial was finally kicking off, and everybody knew this case could blow the lid off the whole Memphis rap scene. This wasn't some small-time street case. This was about legacy, power, and who really ran the city from the shadows. Johnson was facing serious time: first-degree murder, conspiracy, and weapons charges. Basically, if he got convicted, his next home address was gonna be a prison cell for life. The prosecution, led by Shelby County ADA Paul Hagerman, came stacked with evidence. They had surveillance footage showing 2 masked men hopping out of a white Benz and opening fire while Dolph was inside Makita's cookie shop. They had phone records putting Johnson and his co-defendants in the exact area at the time of the hit. Even the ballistics lined up. The same guns used in the killing traced right back to them. But what really flipped the courtroom upside down was when Cornelia Smith, Johnson's own co-defendant, decided to talk. Yeah, Smith turned state witness, cutting a deal for a lighter sentence. And when he took that stand, everything changed. Smith's testimony was pure chaos, straight bombs dropping left and right. He didn't just confess to being part of the shooting, he started naming names and connecting dots that nobody thought would ever be said out loud. According to Smith, this wasn't just 2 street dudes handling beef. He claimed the hit came from way higher up. Smith told the court under oath that the order came from Anthony Big Jook Mims, Yo Gotti's older brother and a key figure in CMG. Yeah, he said Big Jook allegedly put a $100,000 bag on Dolph's head, 100 grand to take out one of Memphis's biggest rap icons. Smith broke it all down like a blueprint, saying the payout was split between the shooters and the mastermind behind the plan. According to him, he and Straight Drop were each supposed to pocket 40 racks for pulling the trigger, while Hernandez Govan, the so-called organizer, would get 20 bands for setting it up. But it didn't stop there. Smith claimed that before the shooting, they actually met with Big Jook in person to plan how it was gonna go down. And when Dolph was finally gone, Smith said they FaceTimed Big Jook right after to confirm that the mission was done. That moment alone sent chills through the courtroom. Then Smith dropped one more bomb that had everyone's jaw on the floor. He claimed someone connected to CMG paid $50,000 toward his legal fees after he got locked up in January 2022. He didn't know exactly who signed the check, but he was firm that the cash came from someone tied to the label. That detail alone hinted at a much bigger picture, that maybe this wasn't just one man pulling strings, but an entire network protecting their own. If what Smith said holds up, it would mean this wasn't just about revenge or street pride. It was about power, reputation, and business. A hit that might have reached all the way to the top of the Memphis rap empire. The courtroom fell silent that day, but outside those doors, the city couldn't stop buzzing. If these claims were true, then the real story behind young Dolph's death might be even darker than anyone ever imagined. Cornelius Smith took the stand and dropped a bomb. He admitted he was promised $40,000 for his part in the hit, but in the end, he only saw $800. That's right, just $500 up front and another $300 later, from a supposed 40 bands to barely enough for rent. Wild. Still, despite the sketchy payment story and all the holes in his testimony, the jury locked in on what the prosecution was pushing. September 26, 2024, the verdict came down hard. Justin straight drop. Johnson was found guilty on all counts: first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and being a felon in possession of a weapon. The jurors had seen it all: the grainy surveillance footage, the incriminating phone records, and even Smith's shaky testimony, and they still bought it. Johnson got hit with a life sentence, which in Memphis means at least 51 years before even sniffing parole. He's about 30 now, so do the math. If he makes it that long, he'd be pushing 81 before he ever walks free again. Basically, his life on the outside is over, and hired by CMG or anyone representing them, but the optics again were wild. Having the same lawyer as Gotti's crew added yet another twist to an already messy puzzle. And now here's the big question that's still floating heavy over Memphis. If Big Jook really did order that hit on young Dolph, was he doing it on his own, or was there someone bigger behind it? Was it all his move, his decision, his street play? Or did Yo Gotti know what was being plotted? Maybe even give the green light? The truth is, nobody can say for sure. Big Jook's death took those answers to the grave. The lack of solid evidence connecting Gotti directly to the murder, mixed with Jook's death before he could be questioned, leaves this entire story half-finished. Like a movie that ends right before the final scene. The truth about who really ordered Dolph's execution might never be fully known. One of the biggest mysteries that keeps everyone talking is that rumored $50,000 that someone allegedly dropped to cover Cornelius Smith's legal fees. If Smith's testimony about that is real, and remember he swore to it under oath, that could mean this whole thing went way deeper than just Big Jook freelancing. Think about it. If anyone tied to CMG really paid that kind of cash to help defend the accused killers, that would hint at something organized, like people making sure nobody cracked under pressure or started talking to the feds. Still, it's possible there's another explanation. Maybe friends, family, or people in the Memphis scene helped out. It's common in tight-knit street circles for folks to chip in when someone's fighting big charges, especially when there's fear that they might flip and start spilling names. But even with that possibility, the timing and amount raise eyebrows. But one thing's for sure, young Dolph's murder wasn't just another story in the headlines. It was the loss of a man who represented independence, power, and perseverance. He wasn't just a rapper. He was a boss, a provider, a Memphis icon who turned his own pain into progress and built an empire from scratch. His death didn't just take away an artist, it ripped away a father, a community leader, and a symbol of what self-made success really looks like. Justice might have been served on paper, but the deeper truth, the why behind it all, still hangs in the air like smoke that won't clear. Until the day somebody steps forward with proof, Memphis will keep asking the same question: who really wanted young Dolph gone? And why? If you made it this far, respect. This story's heavy, but it's one the world needs to hear. Hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into hip-hop's biggest untold stories. And if you want more wild investigations like this one, tap one of the videos on your screen right now. You don't want to miss what's coming next.